Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. I'm back on the Edison Opera, and we're going to talk about the governor drive gear, which was the culprit of the whole problem of the opera. And what happens on these brass, we have steel here, and then we have brass here, and they're kind of sandwiched in between. But when you hold this gear, which connects to this brass drive gear, and you do this, that's not good. So problem is that this probably got a hairline crack in it, like that little line right there, and it loosened up. Now, yesterday, or previous video, I talked about the oil varnish, and this builds up in here. And then you can see it was sitting so long, we have oil varnish built up on the carriage part. So how do we get rid of this? Well, first of all, we're not going to get two of these vice grips or pliers and try to wiggle this crap away. But with a little bit of flame, and you use a butane torch like this, you can heat this up gently and it will soften that varnish. It'll soften the varnish for you. But the other thing is...
And then what? That allows you to tap it out?
It allows you to tap it out. But the problem is we have to go about maybe a little over an inch to drive this shaft out without bending it. So you take the bearing out, and yes, you could tap in a piece of wood, but what I do, as I've done this one or more times, I have this brass plug with a piece of brass in it, and I ground this down just to fit in to the hole there. So you put this in, and that fits together. And now what you do, turn on the butane, and we're just going to heat this thing up a little. A little warm there. And now we'll just go tappy, tappy, tappy. You see how that comes apart? Now you want to hold this because you don't want it to hit the lead screw.
Oh, very clever.
There we go. And that's where I was going. The brass, because this is steel, it won't oblong it. And the other thing is, this is the bearing that fits in here like that. But I bet you didn't know there's a flat area on the bearing right there. You see this flat area right here on the bearing?
Yes.
That's for oiling. So when you put the bearing together, you want this at the top when this goes in, because then you can put a little bit of dab of oil and that goes into the inside. Edison was genius on some things. So we got that apart. Now we'll pull this out, and that's what this little tool is I made. And this is not good.
What's not good about it?
This has to be pressed on.
It looks like there's a crack in it.
Yeah, it looks like there's a crack in it, but this is steel. And you can see down in here where it was rubbing, right here.
And I can see a crack there
Yeah.
by your finger.
Yep, it cracks. So what that means is we're going to have to machine a new gear for this. And this is not cheap. Guaranteed, this is not cheap to make one of these. And the problem is, like a lot of Edisons, the governor drive gears, like on Edisons, they're interchangeable. But on Operas, no. On Triumphs, they're interchangeable. But from A to D or whatever, you can move them around and make them work. But this is unique to an Opera. And so now we have to machine a new one of these. This is the second weak link in an Opera. You have two, really. It's this governor drive gear, and then it's a it's a flywheel pin or wire that goes through there, cushion it. And that's how you get them out, and then we will machine a new one. And that's my tip for the day.